My name is Dr. Joel Rosen. I am the Adrenal Fatigue Recovery Ninja, and I want to continue the lessons on metabolic flexibility. What we just finished talking about is you're not metabolically flexible, you're not able to handle stress, you may have adrenal fatigue, you have hypothyroid problems, you can't sleep, you have insomnia, you have anxiety, and no one's ever told you about metabolic flexibility. Let's talk about your glucose. You're a mess with your glucose. You think you're either hypoglycemic, which I would guess and I would wager that you don't know if you are or not, and my guess is you're probably not. You're most likely insulin resistance, and or you're already metabolic syndrome, which is syndrome X, which is pre-diabetes. And if you're not there already, you're stinking close. So let's talk about low glucose tendencies. Low glucose tendencies is you crave sweets during the day. You get shaky, jittery, lightheaded, nervous, and anxious if you don't have a meal. You get irritable if you miss a meal. You're like that bear with the sore tooth. You get very, very easily agitated. You depend on coffee to get you going and to get you to get up in the morning and to keep you going. And you also have very poor memory and forgetful. You get lightheaded if you miss that meal. And when you eat, it relieves your fatigue. Okay, so I'm sure like, yep, that's me, that's me, that's me. But hold your horses. What about the high glucose tendencies? So fatigue after meal. How many of you guys have a meal and then you're just exhausted and you're tired? You're insulin resistant and you're metabolically inflexible, and we need to fix that. You also crave sweets during the day. Guess what? That's the same thing if your blood sugar goes too low. So these things are very, very similar. You could oscillate between having too much sugar and having too little sugar and having this little roller coaster ride, and that's really what's happening. You also crave sweets no matter how much you eat. You continue to crave sweets, or you need to have something sugary after a meal. How many of you have that? Also, you can't lose weight. You're gaining weight around that midsection no matter what you do. You're exercising, you're exhausted, you don't have any energy for exercise, or if you do exercise, forget about it. The next day, the next 2 days, the next week, you're done. You're not metabolically flexible. You suffer with all of these problems. And you also have some problems with focus, concentration as well. So this is what I want to talk to you about is you have no idea what's going on with your glucose levels. And you think you're hypoglycemic, and my guess is you're not. So you're having small, frequent meals throughout the day. You're trying to go keto, or you're trying to do a paleo, or you're trying to go autoimmune, and it all doesn't matter because you're not metabolically flexible, and we got to fix that. And when I say metabolically flexible, I also mean your body, your cells, your energy, your mitochondria, the chief energy producers of your cell, they need to be able to use energy in any way, shape, or form that they see fit. Meaning when you just force feed it and force feed it and force feed it, glucose, or you try to get into beta oxidation through fatty acid utilization, you can't because you're not metabolically flexible. And so what happens is your body doesn't know how to tap into that. It's like an ocean, it's like a transport truck that brings gasoline, hundreds of thousands of gallons of gas, and it runs out of gas at the side of the road. How impossible is that? You know why it does that? It's because it can't tap into its own energy source. That truck, that transport truck that's bringing those hundreds of thousands of gallons of gas that runs out of gas is metabolically inflexible. And that's what you are. So stay tuned because we're going to talk about insulin and we're going to topple the sacred cow. And if you really like what I'm saying, stay tuned and listen to the next one. So we'll